How are you doing today? Welcome to Steve's Storytime Sanctum. I'm your host and your tour guide, Steve Husk. And today I'm also going to play the part of bookshelf historian. In this capacity, I talk about some of the stories that have already been published before the Sanctum came online. The story is called Alternate Ending. It's my first ever published flash fiction science fiction story. When I first decided I wanted to write science fiction, I had to decide what kind of science it would be, what kind of stories they would be. And I decided on two things. I wasn't going to write alternate reality stories, and I wasn't going to write time travel. The title of this story will tell you I violated at least one of them. Two of them, but we'll get back to that later. The one I violated this time? Alternate realities.
Yes, I'm talking about alternate realities. They might overlap. We don't yet know enough about the concept.
Someone who does know something about alternate realities are the entities. They're higher dimensional beings. They can see alternate futures before they happen, and they have the ability to dip down into the three-dimensional worlds where we reside and communicate with us. In this story, they come down to the three-dimensional world to talk to an elementary-age kid whose path was going to lead him to die that very day. And they offered him a more dignified way of dying. Well, the kid felt anger. I mean, who wouldn't? I mean, you're being told you're going to die. He figured out there's got to be a way to get around this. And the entities assured him there was no way around it. He was going to try anyway.
No matter what he chose, he was still going to die.
The kid said, I'm going to try anyway. The entity said, game on.
Game on!
Alternate Ending was the first story in which a traditional publisher actually made suggestions on making changes to the manuscript before they publish it. Some of them were kind of minor, and they were no big deal. But there was one I really didn't like at all. They wanted me to take out the entire first paragraph of the story. This is where the kid was thinking to himself, confronting what he was being challenged with. In other words, the editors want me to go straight to the quote that the entities made, the offer they made him to see alternate ways that he would die. But I gave it some thought, and I decided to disembark from the ego train. They weren't telling me they weren't going to publish it. They were simply telling me that make these changes and it'll be easier to sell it. It'll be easier to get the readers behind it. And I figured they have a hell of a lot more experience in what science fiction readers are actually looking for. I mean, I know what I want in a science fiction story, but they know what their readership likes.
I made changes I agreed with. I sent the revised story. They sent me a contract. They sent me a contract. Done deal. Really cool. Really cool.
Whoa. How close did I come to ending up in a reality where the publisher didn't accept my changes and didn't publish my story? Fortunately, I'll never find out. But one thing I did figure out, one thing I did learn, this was an excellent lesson for someone that early on in his authoring and publishing career. It was invaluable to me. And I'm glad I made the right decision.
Good news. The Everyday Fiction website is still up and running, and my story is still there. So follow the link in the description below for a free read, and let me know what you think about it.
Because the rights to this story reverted back to me after a certain time, I'm probably going to put this in some sort of collection of short works whenever I get around to it. Like the video, leave a comment on the Everyday Fiction site, or you can leave a comment on this video, and feel free to subscribe to the channel. Above all, make sure you read something in whatever reality you reside.